My name is Paul, and I've been a part of Live the Life for just over 4 years now.
I'm Jennifer, and I've been with Live the Life for 11 years.
We met here while serving at L.T.Church, and we are the Morenos. It was kind of like fall in love at first sight. We had a great engagement, Cinderella wedding. You know, we just lived happily ever after. That's just not the way it happened.
We blended 7 children, and it was not only blending our families, but blending our careers.
I'd say that one of the biggest challenges that we faced was in the area of finances. We did everything right up to that point as individuals. We were both tithers, we were obedient in giving.
I think being at the pinnacle of our success, the money part brought out the worst in us.
And coming from a background where I was used to making decisions on my end, and Jennifer was used to making decisions on her end and trying to blend those two things together. And the pressure just built and built to where it was too much. And so after just over a year being married, I decided to leave. After leaving, I'd say I was gone for about 2 months. And just something happened within that time that we just began to speak a little bit differently and have a little bit different perspective in what was going on. And we knew that we needed to seek God because we knew we were in love, but it came with a lot of baggage that we weren't prepared for and that we didn't expect. And we thought, just with our backgrounds, that we could work through it. We can solve our own problems. But we quickly realized that these were things that we couldn't solve on our own, that we really needed to seek God and not just see what we could do, but see what He could do through us.
As a strong woman that I was, I felt like I could do this on my own. I have my church family, I have my family, I've done this before, I've been a single mom before, I got this. And it was very quickly that God spoke to me. I reached out to Paul, and we started dating again, and we started moving in the right direction, but seeking God first.
So now, after being reunited and really making it a point or a priority to work on our marriage and to put God first and to put each other first and the family first, about a year after of that is when God really began to do something else in us. It was like, wow, here's another challenge for you. And it was really God just tugging on our heart saying, you know, we know what you're able to do, but God was saying, now I want you to step into what you're called to do.
So we started to get along and really started dating each other. We go out every Tuesday for date nights. And then he just sprung up this, I think God spoke to me that we needed to downsize. It was a very difficult decision to downsize, but I knew that God was calling us to give more. And I couldn't imagine. We were tithers, we're givers. I was very worried about the finances, and at that point I wasn't fully trusting in God.
I think that was probably the hardest part, was knowing that we were doing the right things and just never seeming to get the right results. And the only thing that I could find through the whole thing was God was just telling us, just keep trusting in me. This is a test of obedience, because for the first time in a long time it was hard to give. Because every time I would write a check to the church, I would look at that amount and say, man, we could be paying a bill with this. At that point, when we knew that it was no longer about us and it was more about what God wanted to do in this time, is when the doors really began to open.
We began to be transparent, and it was at that point that I think there was a big breakthrough. From that moment forward, there was momentum, and we knew that God had touched both our hearts. Paul started taking Bible classes and things that he's always wanted to do more in ministry, and just give everything we had, and we were completely in. Weeks later, I was offered a job, the house sold.
And I knew the house was selling. We'd signed papers, but at that point I was still like, I need to see it. I need to see it in writing. And I went to the mailbox and I got these 2 letters from the mortgage company. I opened both of them. And it was wild. They were dated on the same day. One of them said, your house is in foreclosure. The other one said, your house has been sold, the check is on the way. And it was just the wildest thing, and it was just like, there was just this mixture of emotions of a man just standing at the mailbox weeping with these 2 letters and just seeing like, wow, God, this 9 months has been so treacherous, and it's been a nightmare, but it was all in your timing. And there was so many things that we grew in, and we grew so much closer together in that time that I wouldn't ever wish that on anybody, that kind of pressure or struggle. But really that's the thing that's brought us closer together. And I think if it wasn't for that, it wouldn't have put us in a position that we are today. Investing in God is something that will always come back and bless you and your family.